Hawaii Writers Guild members, and R&R group participants. My name is Johnson Kahili. I'm going to present a short course on how to use the Zoom platform. I'm going to split up this presentation into 3 parts. The first part is going to cover how to log on. The second part is going to cover sound and video. The third section is going to cover the user interface and how to do things like raise your hand, link your piece to the chat, and screen sharing. Okay, let's start with section 1. In section 1, I'm going to show you how to connect to a Zoom meeting. First, we're going to go to our email, and we're going to go to our email that is registered with Hawaii Writers Guild. In that email, once a week, Margaret will send you a reminder link for the Readings and Responses Saturday group. So this is the link for last week's Saturday's group. So we're going to go ahead and open that email. Okay, so what we're going to look for to join the meeting is these 3 highlighted sections here. Where it says join Zoom meeting. This is the link that will take you to the Zoom page. So let's go ahead and click that now. Okay, after the page loads, as you can see here, if you click launch meeting, it's not going to take you anywhere. What you need to do, and this is the same for if you're on PC, you're on Apple, you're on a phone or a tablet, you're going to have to download the client. So to do that, you have download Zoom client here. So if you can click that, it'll download. As you can see, mine's downloading here, and it downloaded really quickly because this is a very small file. You're gonna click on that so that it starts installing. We're gonna wait for that to get done, which will be very quickly here, and it should take you directly to the meeting. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so if this is your first time downloading the Zoom client, you're gonna have to put your name in. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now, and then click on Join Meeting. Okay, so now you can see my video here is working, but you're not done. You're not in the meeting yet. So you're gonna have to go join with video. Now you're in the meeting, but nobody can hear you, so you're gonna have to join with audio. And as long as everything works good, you should be in the meeting with audio and video. As you can see in this frame here, I'm the only one in the meeting, so I take up the entire frame. But normally the screen will look like there'll be boxes here, several boxes with different participants in it. Zoom handles arranging those boxes based on who's talking and how many people are in the room. So it's not going to look like this when you log on, and it'll probably look different every time you log on. So don't be alarmed by that. If you're having problems with your video or your sound, I'm going to discuss that in section 2. But for now, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to answer questions in real time. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about section 2. The 2 buttons I'm going to cover in this section are this mute button and this stop video button. So if you are in your Zoom meeting here and you do not see your video and it looks like this with just your name, or it will have a square here with just your initial, this means your video is not working. So if your video is off like this, first try clicking on it to take away the off slash, and your video should come up. If your video does not come up still yet, click on the caret here, and you need to select the camera that you're using here. So for your phone, your tablet, and most laptops, you will have a built-in camera on the top. As you can see here, if I touch it, it's right at the top of the screen, on the physical screen. Most computers like desktop computers, will not have a camera built in. Some desktop screens do have cameras built in, but many do not. If that's the case, you're going to have to buy an external camera. You're going to have to download the software, download the drivers for it to show up in this Zoom interface here. At the end of this section, when I pause the video for questions, if you're still having trouble connecting to video, we can discuss that during that time. If we're still not able to resolve your issue, I'd be willing to meet with you one-on-one sometime to get you connected. Okay, so let's talk about the mute button. So the mute works in a similar way to the stop video function. So if I click on mute, everybody in the meeting will not be able to hear me. You're able to hear me right now because this is a video and I'm recording it through a separate software. But during the Zoom meeting, nobody will be able to hear you. So if nobody's able to hear you, first check to see if you're unmuted. So if your icon looks like this, click on it here, and you can see that the icon is working and people should be able to hear you. Sometimes you will see this, and if you look carefully at the icon, you'll see this green mic button going up and down. If you do not see like that green fill indicating your volume going up and down in your icon there, it might be because your mic is not connected, and I'm going to show you how to connect your mic. So just like the stop video, there's a little caret right next to the icon. So let's go ahead and click that. You have two options here. So the first is select microphone. So make sure the microphone that you are using is selected. So I have headset microphone, which is what I'm wearing right here. That's what I have selected. Uh, Tablets, most laptops, and phones will have a microphone array option, and that's the built-in microphone on the device itself. Most desktops will not have this feature, and you will have to purchase an external microphone, download the software and the drivers for it to show up on this menu. But once you do that, the Zoom should pick it up normally, and you'll have an option for your microphone here. Okay, so a second problem you might have is um, you can everybody can hear you, but you can't hear everybody. So that is under the microphone tab as well, and it's select speaker. Just like the phone, the tablet, and the laptop, most of the time you will have built-in speakers, but most desktops do not have built-in speakers, and you'll have to buy an external set of speakers connected to your auxiliary jack. You might need to get a DC connector to plug it into the wall, or you need to have a USB setup, and then you would have to download the software and download the drivers for it to show up on this menu. As I said before with the video, if you're still having difficulty setting these features up, you can ask me in the comment section when I pause the video. And if we're still not able to resolve your issues, I could meet with you one-on-one and we can get you connected. So for now, that's all I need to speak about. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to talk about: the mute button. So the mute button is actually a dual function. If you have a lot of noise in your background, like you have a noisy pet, or you have kids playing around in the background, or your neighbor's cutting grass, if you're not muted, everybody in the meeting can hear that. So you would unmute yourself so that nobody can hear your background noise until it's time for you to talk. So this section is going to be a little bit long, so I'm going to go over the user interface features of Zoom. So we'll just go down the line here. So if you see on this bar, there's several more icons. If you click on this participant button here, you'll be able to see everyone who's in the meeting. You'll see if they're muted. You'll see if their cameras are working. If they use the raise your hand function, you'll be able to see that up here. This isn't really important unless you're a facilitator. So I'm not going to go into any depth on this tab here. I just wanted to show you what it does so that there's no confusion. If you click on the next one, the chat feature, you will also be able to see every other member in the group other than yourself here. But because I'm the only one in this Zoom meeting, you can only see me. So by default, this chat system is set up like any other chat system on Facebook or on Google Pages. You would just type here, and by default, it's set to everyone can see it. There is also a caret here next to the everyone where you can pick if you wanted to direct message a certain individual participant in the meeting. You can also do so by right clicking the name and clicking on the direct message uh, option while right clicking their name. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about in the chat is the share file function. Okay, so in your chat box here on the side, you're going to see this button next to the Everyone tab, and it says File. So you're going to go ahead and click on that. It gives you different options of where your file may be stored. I store my files on the computer, and I don't use Dropbox or any of these things. So what you would do is, if you store your file on the computer like I do, you're going to click Your Computer, and this menu is going to come up. And from here, you're going to go to where your file is stored. So it may be in a folder. I put mine for simplicity on the desktop, and here it is. I'm going to go ahead and click Open, and it should show up in chat. Okay, so let's talk about the Reactions tab. The most important button you're going to need to know about in the Reactions tab is the Raise Your Hand button. So if you click on Reactions, the on the bottom here, it will say Raise Your Hand. When you click on that button, it'll make a yellow hand here. It'll also make a hand in the Participants tab here. This is important because this is how we prevent each other from speaking over each other. Uh, the facilitators will say this a lot, like if you'd like to speak, you need to raise your hand. So this is how you go ahead and do it. So you would raise it here. When you're done speaking, please lower your hand, because not every facilitator has the protocols to be able to lower your hand. So when you're done speaking, it would be very helpful if you lower your hand. Okay. The second part of this reaction tab are these emojis. As you can see, there are 6 up here to be used. There's a clapping your hands, thumbs up, there's a laughing one, a surprise, the heart, celebration icon here. If you click these 3 dots, there's a lot more. So feel free to use these to emote how you're feeling about a certain piece. Okay, so that goes over the reaction. So there's 2 more buttons I want to talk about. The most complicated one is going to be the screen share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this participant tab. I'm going to minimize this view for now. And this is what I suggest you do before you even go into the Zoom meeting, is have your document, which is on my desktop here is Firebloom. It doesn't have to be on your desktop. It can be in a folder. But what I suggest you do is have it open like this. It doesn't have to be open like this. You can have it minimized in a tab down below, but make sure it's open. And I'll show you why. So if you go to screen share here, you go ahead and click on it. You're going to have all of these windows here. So you need to look for the one that has your manuscript on it. And you can see my manuscript is here, even though I have it minimized. Now, it's not going to show up here if I don't have it open. So let me go back. Let me close this this here, and then go ahead and screen share. As you can see, my manuscript is no longer here. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go over here. You're going to have to, if you're in full screen here, you're going to have to go out of full screen. You're going to have to move this around. You're going to have to open up your tab. And as you can see, it doesn't show up on your screen share even if you open up afterwards. So you're going to have to close this and screen share again for it to show up. So a good practice is to, before the meeting even starts, before you even log in, make sure you have this open either like this on your desktop and leave it open, or make sure it's at least minimized here. So when you go back into your Zoom and you screen share, it's there. So you would click on screen share. You would go and look for whichever screen is here. Also, another good thing is right now I'm making the video, so I have my Resolve open and I have other reference pages open. So another good thing is to close down every other, if like you're watching YouTube videos or something, have all of that closed beforehand so that there's less things on here to confuse you. And all you will have is your screen and maybe your browser with your email on it and your document. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on your document. It's going to come in a blue outline like this. You're going to go ahead and share it. So once it goes on here, you're going to get minimized on the side here, and you'll be able to see a line of all your fellow participants. And you have control over this window here. So as you can see, I'm like bouncing it with the scroll wheel. Nobody else will be able to control this. So you have complete control over this page here. So as you read, you get down to here, you can scroll up and until you get to the end. So the new protocol is when you are done reading, you're going to stop share. So if you go up here, you'll see your buttons come back, and this little red tab here will say stop share. So when you click stop share, it'll bring you back to the gallery view. Okay, so we got one more button to talk about, and it's this leave meeting button. Let's say you have to leave early and you don't want to make a big scene. All you have to do is click this button here and click leave meeting, and it'll take you out of the interface. So let's go ahead and do that now, and I'm out of the meeting. So say you exited the meeting on accident. Just go back to your email, your reminder link here, in your whatever email you use to register to Hawaii Writers Guild. Go to your invitation, scroll all the way down, and here's your Zoom meeting. Click that Zoom meeting, and you should go back to the open Zoom meetings. It's going to ask you to connect your video, join with video, join with audio, and you should be back in the meeting. Uh, yeah, so that's about it. That brings us to the end of our presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me. If not, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next Readers and Responses writing group.